Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today. Chapter 211, The Tremor of the Chiquan Star Domain. Refuse me? Why would he refuse me? Lin Yuan pondered for a moment and roughly speculated the reason. The evolvers he had selected, without exception, were either extremely famous, had a profound background, or possessed talent that was unmatched in a star domain. Such evolvers were essentially celebrity evolvers. Who knows how many people were paying attention to them? If they accepted just any evolver's challenge, they might as well stop cultivating and just keep accepting challenges from start to finish. Moreover, casually accepting challenges from unknown evolvers. Winning was taken for granted. But if by some chance they lost, it would be very embarrassing. Therefore, unless it was an evolver of the same level and status, those celebrity evolvers would not easily accept challenges. If that's the case, Lin Yuan's thoughts surged. Then I will apply for a challenge with my true identity. The so-called true identity obviously was not the Lin Yuan persona, but rather the identity of the peak master of the 13th peak of the Red Kuan lineage. In terms of the level of attention, the mysterious peak master of the 13th peak of the Red Kuan lineage. It was estimated that there was not an evolver who would not be curious. And with the high status of the peak master of the 13th peak, there were probably not many evolvers who would refuse a challenge issued by him. Even if they lost, there was a reason for it. After all, it was the peak master of the 13th peak. Isn't it normal if I lost? If they could win, then they would have beaten the peak master of the 13th peak. With that thought, Lin Yuan immediately switched identities. The virtual world of the Red Kuan lineage. The 13th main peak. Lin Yuan's figure appeared in the Grand Hall at the peak summit. Since he had yet to step into the 6th rank, Lin Yuan did not recruit disciples or servants for the main peak, so the Grand Hall appeared empty and deserted. As long as I don't reveal Lin Yuan's identity, using the identity of the 13th peak's peak master to do some things would have no impact. Lin Yuan mulled over this repeatedly. Then he started to enter the arena area and select an opponent to apply for a challenge. The arena area. One of the arenas. A dark-skinned man appeared. I didn't expect the formidable peak master of the 13th peak of the Red Kuan lineage to actually choose to challenge me. The dark-skinned man felt somewhat flattered. He looked at a figure appearing in the distance and said with a slightly respectful posture. As a being who was on the cusp of stepping into the 6th rank with a 90% soul transformation, the dark-skinned man had long stopped accepting any challenges, as his most important task was to completely focus on pushing his soul compatibility to perfection. Then he could safely step into the 6th rank. The dark-skinned man was indeed doing just that, until he received a challenge application from the peak master of the 13th peak of the Red Kuan lineage. My God, this was the peak master of the 13th peak, a high-ranking figure in a future star domain. Even if the dark-skinned man stepped into the 6th rank, his status would still be far inferior to that of the peak master of the 13th peak. Therefore, upon receiving the challenge application, the dark-skinned man did not hesitate to choose to accept. It was, after all, just a challenge and wouldn't take too much time. To witness the legendary and mysterious peak master of the 13th peak, it was worth it regardless of winning or losing. Let's begin. Lin Yuan looked at the dark-skinned man. All right. After the dark-skinned man spoke, his figure disappeared from the spot. Peak master of the 13th peak, the evolution path I cultivate is known as the shadow evolution path, which allows me to hide in any. The dark-skinned man hadn't finished speaking when Lin Yuan took a step forward, moved to a spot under the shade of a tree, and reached out a hand. A nearly invisible shadow was caught. Then the shadow quickly solidified and took the form of the dark-skinned man. How? How is this possible? The dark-skinned man's eyes widened in disbelief. His method of hiding was extremely secretive, and even sixth-rank evolvers might overlook it if they were not paying attention. The dark-skinned man had evaded countless death traps with his hiding techniques. But in front of the peak master of the 13th peak, it was seen through at a glance. Not bad, Lin Yuan commented. Then he crushed the dark-skinned man's neck. Your understanding is against heaven. Watching the shadow hiding method, your comprehension of the shadow laws deepens. Your understanding is against heaven. Watching the shadow hiding method, your comprehension of the shadow laws deepens. Your understanding is against heaven. Watching the shadow hiding method, your comprehension of the shadow laws deepens. Lin Yuan closed his eyes slightly, and under his against heaven's understanding, the numerous techniques of the dark-skinned man were transformed into gains, integrating into the martial arts evolution system. Lin Yuan faintly felt that the transformation speed of his soul compatibility had increased ever so slightly. Although it was not significant, it was better than usual enlightenment by that bit. This was not to say that enlightenment was inefficient, but occasionally changing the style of cultivation could lead to unexpected results. And under against heaven's understanding, whether Lin Yuan sat down to ponder or fought to learn, both were considered a form of enlightenment. Next, Lin Yuan continuously challenged one evolver after another. These evolvers were not only limited to the Chiquan star domain or other nearby star domains, but also included all the renowned 5th-rank ultimate evolvers within the entire human civilization territory. Some evolvers had a terrifying fleshly body, merely relying on their robust qi and blood to form a huge domain. Lin Yuan also had to rely on his own explosion of power to briefly hold back the qi and blood domain and then finish the opponent with a single finger. There were also evolvers who were masters of speed, appearing anywhere in the arena at a moment's thought, able to attack from any corner. The faster they moved, the stronger the attack. Lin Yuan really exerted some effort before he managed to stomp his opponent to death. As Lin Yuan battled and exchanged blows with different evolvers, he learned more and more. In just half a month's time, he gained what would amount to 2 months of meditative cultivation. And as Lin Yuan kept on challenging, more and more evolvers, especially those from the Chiquan star domain, began to take notice of Lin Yuan. Chapter 212. Our peak master of Kanglan star domain is actually challenging other evolvers everywhere? Peak master Shursan. Isn't it said to be extremely mysterious, having never made a move before? Everyone go. Let's see what the Chiquan star domain's Shursan peak master is capable of. Many evolvers and high-level citizens gathered in the arena area, specifically watching the platform where Lin Yuan usually issued challenges. Hello, everyone. I'm your little kitty cat. Today, let's see. The legendary Chiquan Shursan Peak Master. A cute and personable girl with a pair of cat ears appeared in front of the platform. She was a popular female broadcaster in the Chiquan star domain and dozens of nearby star domains, often live-streaming challenges of some powerful evolvers. The Chiquan Shursan Peak Master, although not yet 6th rank, was highly suitable for live-streaming content because of his fame and status. Alright. The challenge has started. That one is the Shursan Peak Master. Although I know the appearance has been adjusted, he looks too handsome. The girl knew how to engage the live-streaming atmosphere well. With just a few words, she immediately lifted the ambience. Our Shursan Peak Master's opponent is known as Soul Artisan Lataza. The camera switched. A gaunt young man in a black robe appeared. This lean youth was mostly shrouded in a black robe, looking extremely sinister and terrifying. Soul Artisan Lataza follows the soul-type evolution path and specializes in eerie soul attacks. The Tao of the soul is extremely dangerous. Lataza once had a record of making a group of 5th-rank ultimate evolvers dare not come close. I wonder about Shursan Peak Master. The girl thoroughly introduced Soul Artisan Lataza's past achievements. If this were in reality, Lataza would definitely not be a match for Shursan Peakmaster, since in reality, Shursan Peakmaster would surely have many soul defense weapons. But in the virtual world, especially in the arena, you can't bring in any external help, so I think Shursan Peakmaster might be in some danger. The girl continued her introduction. A moment later, the battle between Shursan Peakmaster and Lataza began. Buzz! Strange fluctuations started to spread. The girl was about to introduce the scene on the live stream. The next moment, the figure of soul artisan Lataza began to collapse. Starting from his feet, his torso, and both hands, everything began to disintegrate. Your soul is strong. In the end, only Lataza's head remained, and after saying this phrase, his head also began to collapse. In front of the platform, the girl blinked her eyes. Damn. She had forgotten that Lataza was an evolver on the soul-type evolution path. Such evolvers were known for their swift battles. Shursan Peakmaster is too strong, able to block Lataza's soul attacks unscathed. Shursan Peakmaster has at least started the soul metamorphosis fusion. The girl had explained many high-rank evolver battles and had considerable research on the strength of souls. It looks like our Shursan Peakmaster is about to step into 6th rank, and who knows the real identity of Shursan Peakmaster. The girl finished speaking, her tone betraying a hint of curiosity. The identity of the Chikuin Shursan Peakmaster was extremely mysterious, and countless evolvers wanted to know it. All right, the next challenger for Shursan Peakmaster has arrived. The girl shifted her attention to the upcoming challenge. Amazing! The Peakmaster is too strong, ordinary 5th rank limits are like ants in comparison. Isn't that supposed to be the case for our Chikuin's Peakmaster being powerful? In a private room at the arena, many members of the Red Kuin lineage were gathered here, enjoying the numerous techniques of Shursan Peakmaster. Is that the Shursan Peakmaster? Fong Qing was among them, looking at the battle below with some shock. At this moment, a desolate continent was simulated on the battlefield. But as Shursan Peakmaster and his opponent continued to exchange blows, the continent was torn apart, plates were punctured, and for a time, lava erupted in an apocalyptic sight. Too powerful. Fong Qing felt a tremor in his heart. If the battle occurring on the platform had taken place on a life planet, that planet would likely have become a dead star by now, devoid of any living creatures. We evolvers should be like the Peakmaster, possessing the ability to destroy heavens and earth with a mere wave of our hands. Not far away, a member of the Tri-Eye clan sat, clenching his fists tightly. Rather than being like some people who are loyal to their friends, wasting time and resources, the Tri-Eye clan man glanced at Fong Qing. There was a clear implication in his words. Some time ago, Fong Qing had gathered his friends to help Kanglin's star through a crisis, which had made the Tri-Eye clan man somewhat uncomfortable. In his view, everything had its own destiny, and forcefully intervening was undoubtedly altering that destiny. Upon hearing this, Fong Qing dared not speak. In terms of status, the Tri-Eye clan man had the red mark in the 7-star cave test and had joined the Red Kuin lineage. It was certain that, within a century, he would become a core disciple. Fong Qing could not afford to offend such a figure. Inside another private room, 12 figures were leisurely observing. They were the 12 Peakmasters of the Red Kuin lineage. With their status, they seldom watched arena matches below the 6th rank. Even arena matches involving 6th rank evolvers were often beneath their interest. Among the 12 Peakmasters of the Red Kuin lineage, aside from the initial 3 beyond the 6th rank, the rest were all at the pinnacle of 6th rank peak. Yet they were naturally willing to come for Lin Yuan's arena challenges. Our little junior brother. The second senior brother sighed, taking a careful look. He must have already begun the soul transformation process. How many years has it been since he reached this level? The other senior brothers felt the same. Not long ago, they joked that within several decades, Lin Yuan had the potential to step into 6th rank. But now, how much time had passed? Lin Yuan had already reached the pinnacle of 5th rank and had even begun the soul bonding transformation. It wasn't that there were no evolvers whose soul bonding transformation took hundreds or thousands of years. But those were evolvers without any background who had received no guidance from powerful beings before stepping into 5th rank, and had chosen an evolution path that wasn't highly compatible with themselves for soul bonding. For evolvers from the Red Kuan lineage, before reaching 5th rank, their mentors would help them select their evolution path. Such a compatible evolution path made the soul bonding transformation naturally swift, completing within just a few years or a decade at most. In the eyes of the 12 senior brothers, Lin Yuan, being a disciple of the Chikuan Star Lord, was now undergoing a soul bonding transformation and surely had gotten the approval of the Star Lord. He would probably complete the soul transformation within 3 to 4 years. Then he would become a 6th rank evolver. This was tenfold or even 100-fold quicker than what they had initially thought when they predicted it would take several decades for Lin Yuan to reach 6th rank. A 6th rank under 100 years old. Is this kind of talent so incredible that one can't even feel envious? The 12th senior brother sighed. Let's prepare in the next few years. When our junior brother steps into 6th rank, he will definitely visit the main star in person, and we should give him a proper welcome. One of the senior brothers suggested. Of course. The 12th senior brother nodded. He looked again at the arena below. The little guy who was just 4th rank has grown to such heights in the blink of an eye? The 12th senior brother's expression turned reflective. He remembered that during the 7-star cave test, he had hesitated whether to take Lin Yuan as a disciple. The red-hued palace. The Chikuan Star Lord and a man in a white robe were playing chess. Chikuan, you've taken a good disciple. After placing a piece, the man in the white robe remarked thoughtfully. Heh heh. The Chikuan Star Lord just smiled and said no more. That new disciple of mine. He was miserably defeated by your good disciple. The man in the white robe placed another chess piece. Oh! The Chikuan Star Lord felt a stir of interest. His vast consciousness immediately began searching. Soon enough, he found out about Lin Yuan challenging many evolvers in the arena area. Although my disciple has some talent, to beat your disciple, the Chikuan Star Lord was puzzled. He remembered the man in the white robe's disciple had already been at the pinnacle of 5th rank a century ago, and now he was likely just one step away from 6th rank. The soul bonding was probably at 90%. Still pretending? The man in the white robe glanced at the Chikuan Star Lord. The Chikuan Star Lord kept his expression normal, but inside, he was filled with doubt. Immediately, he sent a thread of consciousness to carefully observe the scenes of Lin Yuan's challenges in the arena. The Chikuan Star Lord's face showed a slight change, his expression reflecting surprise. Chapter 213 Wanyang Same Heaven. The Chikuan Star Lord's consciousness was vast, and in just a moment, he had viewed all of Lin Yuan's recent challenge videos. My disciple! The Chikuan Star Lord was filled with surprise and doubt. Has he begun the soul-fusing transformation? The others, including the 12 Peak Masters, all thought that Lin Yuan's rapid cultivation was due to the good guidance of the Chikuan Star Lord. But the Chikuan Star Lord knew better, as he had hardly provided any guidance to Lin Yuan. When he learned that Lin Yuan had entered the 5th rank, the Chikuan Star Lord abandoned the original training plan he had set for Lin Yuan. He planned to first let Lin Yuan experience a rule crystal, to sense and test its effects before deciding the next steps. But now, he was still waiting for Lin Yuan to feedback on the effects of the rule crystal, and Lin Yuan had already completed the 5th rank, begun the soul-fusing transformation, and was about to step into the 6th rank? 80%. No, at least 90–95%. Although the Chikuan Star Lord was observing Lin Yuan through the virtual world, his keen eyes could roughly discern Lin Yuan's level. Watching Lin Yuan battle other evolvers of the same level, he was almost certain that the soul-fusing transformation had reached at least 95%. Seems like you're in a good mood lately. While the Chikuan Star Lord was deep in thought, the white-robed man playing chess across from him glanced at him and said surprisingly. He knew the Chikuan Star Lord well enough to expect some gloating after learning his own disciple had outperformed the man's own. Ha 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 ha. My disciple, how could your disciple compare? Did he cry and come to you to complain? Ha 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 ha. The Chikuan Star Lord realized this and immediately burst into laughter. Although he knew he might have underestimated Lin Yuan's true talent again, he seized the rare opportunity to once more outshine his friend. I thought you had changed, the white-robed man said helplessly, although he had also watched the battle videos of his disciple and Lin Yuan. Indeed, the Chikuan Star Lord's disciple had decisively overpowered his. Where on earth did you find such an outstanding disciple? The white-robed man couldn't help but ask. The 13 peak masters of the Red Kuan lineage claimed. It was discovered by the Chikuan Star Lord during his travels in the universe on a certain planet. Of course, this claim was not highly credible, but since it was asserted by the Chikuan Star Lord himself, the white-robed man played along with the topic. This is a secret. The Chikuan Star Lord smiled mysteriously. You'll know once my disciple steps into the 6th rank. You old fox, still playing mysterious with me. The white-robed man teased, but did not pursue the topic further. He indeed knew that thousands of years ago, the Chikuan Star Lord's newly acquired disciple was killed in an assassination by a different species because his identity was revealed. Because of this, the Chikuan Star Lord personally descended onto the battlefields of different races, engaged in a frenzied slaughter for a while, and only then returned to Chikuan main star. Virtual World. Battle Arena Region. Every time it was almost time for Lin Yuan's daily challenge, countless spectators would arrive early, filled with anticipation for the fight to start. It was well known that Lin Yuan not only had the aura of being one of the 13 peak masters from the Red Kuan lineage but had shown almost overwhelming strength in many of his past battles, drawing a large fan base. These fans were not only limited to the Chikuan Star domain and its neighboring domains but also came from distant regions of human civilization. So, for these fans, the status of the 13 peak masters meant little. They valued Lin Yuan's fighting style and strength more. Inside the VIP box, the Heyu from the Heyu family, a 7th rank evolver, was sitting in his place. Next to Heyu, there were other shadowy figures who were evidently friends of Heyu. What do you think? The strength of my Chikuan Star domain's 13 peak master. Not bad, right? Heyu said casually. Indeed, I had heard that the Chikuan Star Lord was skilled in teaching his disciples, and now it seems, his reputation is well-deserved. The first figure sitting to the right of Heyu nodded. Have you noticed? Every battle in the arena, the 13 peak master's abilities improve a bit. He's using the other evolvers of the same level as stepping stones to ascend to the 6th rank. The figure on the left spoke. He had intently watched every battle of the 13 peak masters. Why else would so many people come to watch? The popularity of the arena where the 13 peak master competes far surpasses that of the 6th rank arenas. Heyu paused, then continued. Throughout the ages, among those in our human civilization who evolved through continuous battle, deducing their own breakthroughs, not one was not a top-notch, stunningly talented genius. The potential of the 13 peak master is completely incalculable. Heyu stated. Indeed so. But as for the future, who can know it? The other figures exchanged glances. Potential and strength are completely different concepts. If they could discern the potential of the 13 peak masters, so could others, even those enemy different species. The future. True. No one knows what the future holds. Even those top divination masters. The futures they foresee are only imagined, not unchangeable. Heyu looked down at the arena below, deep in thought. Chapter 214. Central Continent Manor, outside the main building. Lin Yuan was having dinner with his rarely gathered family. With Lin Yuan's strength, he had already reached the stage of abstention from grain and could constantly devour the energy present in the universe to replenish what he used up. However, the tradition of dinner was not one to be discarded, as it was not just about eating food but also about bonding and communicating with family. I'm full. Lin quickly finished the food in her bowl, stood up with a swoosh, and was about to head back to her room. Stop right there. Mother Lu Qiong frowned. Why are you rushing through dinner? What do you want to do? Lu Qiong directly asked. I want to go to watch Peak Master Shursan's arena battle. Lin assertively said. Although she was just an unranked evolver, she had access to the virtual world and could enter the arena area to watch the confrontation between two evolvers. And lately, the hottest event in the Chikuin Star Domain arena area was undoubtedly the personal appearance of Red Kuin lineage's Peak Master Shursan, challenging various evolvers. Peak Master Shursan. Lu Qiong nodded, not paying too much attention. She too had heard of Peak Master Shursan, the pride of the entire Chikuin Star Domain. Brother, I've told you many times to come watch Peak Master Shursan's arena battles with me. Peak Master Shursan is very powerful. You could learn a lot from him and maybe even get stronger. Lin Yi looked at Lin Yuan, unable to hold back her words. She had been one of the first die-hard fans to follow Peak Master Shursan's challenge initiations and often promoted him amongst her friends. But when it came to selling Peak Master Shursan to her own brother, she faced resistance. Lin Yi found that her brother seemed to have little interest in Peak Master Shursan. This was disappointing for Lin Yi. Lin Yuan was also an evolutionary genius of Kanglin Star, a once in tens of thousands of years talent, but that depended on who he's compared to. Compared to ordinary people, Lin Yuan was a genius, no doubt. But compared to Peak Master Shursan, he was just exceedingly ordinary. Although Lin Yuan was disinterested, Lin Yi was still trying hard. She frequently invited Lin Yuan to join her in watching Peak Master Shursan's arena battles. But each time when the battle was about to begin, Lin Yuan would leave with various excuses. It was almost as if he was deliberately acting against her. I have to meet a friend. You go watch it. Lin Yuan casually found an excuse, brushing it off. All right then. Lin Yi felt disappointed for a while but soon got excited again, because she could watch Peak Master Shursan's arena battle again in a short while. Virtual World, Arena Area. Lin Yuan appeared in the arena. Suddenly, terrifying cheers came from all directions. Why are there so many people this time? Lin Yuan was somewhat surprised. Although the audience was always sizable when he fought with other evolvers, it was far less than now. Is it because of my opponent this time? Lin Yuan thought to himself, guessing the reason. Wanyang lineage. Holy Sun? Lin Yuan glanced at the opponent's information. The Wanyang lineage was the absolute ruler of the Wanyang Star Domain, and their power even slightly surpassed that of the Chikuin lineage. As for the Holy Son of the Wanyang lineage, his status was by no means inferior to the current Lin Yuan. It was said that this Wanyang Holy Son, with his special physique, had received intensive training from the Wanyang Star Lord, unimaginably deep in resources. On the arena, the space transformed. Lin Yuan arrived at a desolate planet. Another figure appeared across from him, dressed in a long robe and looking quite ordinary. Red Kuin lineage's Peak Master Shursan. I didn't expect that before stepping into the 6th rank. I could still confront an evolver from the Red Kuin lineage. The Wanyang Holy Sun smiled, emanating a gentle and warm aura. The Wanyang lineage was the ultimate fire system lineage, and the Chikuin lineage also leaned towards the fire system, but placed more emphasis on space. The essence of Chikuin Star Lord Starry Sky Wanderer Kuin was indeed a life form of space rules. Chikuin Star Lord pursued both fire and space. Me too. Lin Yuan's expression was grave. Though they hadn't fought yet, he felt a certain pressure from the Wanyang Holy Sun, something he had never experienced before. Well then, let's begin. As soon as the words fell, two terrifying auras collided. More than 10 minutes later, Lin Yuan's form had been incinerated into nothingness by the omnipresent Wanyang True Fire. Lost? Did Peak Master Shursan lose? It seems Wanyang Holy Sun is a bit stronger. Nonsense. Do you know the background of Wanyang Holy Sun? Wanyang Holy Sun, a rare 9-yang divine meridian of our human race, was taken away by Wanyang Star Lord after his birth. Wanyang Star Lord paid a great price to seal Wanyang Holy Sun into Wanyang True Crystal, and then threw him into the core of a star. For the next 100 years, Wanyang Holy Sun absorbed the terrifyingly intense energy of the star core every moment. When Wanyang Holy Sun broke the seal, he directly possessed the power of the 5th rank. Wanyang Holy Sun doesn't need to cultivate. With the terrifyingly intense energy inside him, he can crush everything. The audience began a fervent discussion. The background of Wanyang Holy Sun was beyond what normal evolvers could possess. The 9-yang divine meridian alone was already rare enough, a type of physique that made one a steady 6th-rank seed. Plus, being nurtured within the core of a star for 100 years, how could the unsealed Wanyang Holy Sun not be formidable? The pure power of the fire system, burning the heavens and boiling the earth, is indeed terrifying. Lin Yuan appeared in his personal space, repeatedly recalling the battle that had just occurred. With every move Wanyang Holy Sun made, it was like a star falling to the world. Although Lin Yuan followed the Tao of Tai Yin and Tai Yang, which gave him considerable resistance to the scorching heat of the fire system, he still could not hold out for long under such extreme power. However, although Lin Yuan lost, he didn't feel the slightest bit discouraged. First, he didn't use all his means when he confronted Wanyang Holy Sun. For example, he didn't deploy the Yin spirit and Yang spirit. If Lin Yuan were to let out the radiant Yang spirit and wandering Yin spirit, his strength could at least surge multiple times. However, doing so could potentially expose that he was practicing the martial path evolutionary path. Although there are many evolutionary paths in the vast sea of human civilization that can condense an avatar, mostly it's at the 6th or 7th rank that one could do so. As for below the 6th rank, managing to refine something similar to an avatar is extremely rare. Moreover, the Yin spirit and Yang spirit are not physical. Therefore, it would be best not to use the Yin spirit and Yang spirit if possible. Of course, once Lin Yuan stepped into the 6th rank, Yin spirit and Yang spirit would nearly solidify into reality. As long as they don't appear simultaneously, there wouldn't be much of a problem. Secondly, Lin Yuan was more than happy to face such a powerful opponent. At least in this battle, the insights Lin Yuan gained from Wanyang Holy Sun far exceeded those from other evolvers he had encountered before. Wanyang same heaven, Lin Yuan muttered to himself. This was the secret technique used by Wanyang Holy Sun just now. Without it, Lin Yuan could have held on for a while longer. At the edge of human civilization territory, several terrifying wills penetrated through. What should we do? The disciple number 13 taken in by Chikuin Star Lord has terrifying potential. Absolutely cannot allow him to continue growing. The first will expressed mental fluctuations filled with urgency. When they first heard of Peak Master Shursan, they thought he was just a bit more talented and might surpass the 6th rank in the future. But now, it seems to be much more than a bit. If not stopped, there may be another god of slaughter in the battlefields of different races in the future. What can we do? We don't even know the true identity of Peak Master Shursan. The second will send out mental fluctuations of helplessness. He too wished to nip Peak Master Shursan in the bud. But Chikuin Star Lord had learned from a past mistake, and this time the secrecy concerning Peak Master Shursan was taken to the extreme. General Pan Yong, if you have any ideas, feel free to speak out. Our several races, even if we can't help, will definitely support. The third will send out mental fluctuations, inquiring the original speaker. Yes, General Pan Yong, we have resources, we have manpower. We definitely won't sit back and do nothing. The last will also spoke up. Chapter 215, Curse Killing Skill 100% Compatibility. Since you all speak thus, I'll dispense with beating around the bush, General Pan Yong stated. Suddenly, a screen of light emerged from the void. On it appeared rows of text displaying the names and appearances of 10 evolvers. These 10 evolvers, based on myriad pieces of information, are those we deduce to be most likely to be Shursan's true identity, said General Pan Yong. Other presences turned their attention toward the screen. The 10 evolvers on the screen were all members of the Red Kuan lineage. The last of them, shockingly, was a male member of the Tri-Eye clan. As for the first 9, they were evolvers who had shown remarkable performance in the past Chikuin Star Lord trials. Primarily, they focused on red pattern evolvers. General Pan Yong, just showing us these lists isn't of much use. Indubitably, most of these evolvers are hidden on Chikuin Main Star. How can we get to them? Even if we recklessly kill one, the others will surely become alerted, making it even harder to act. The other presences furrowed their brows, expressing their perplexity. There's no need for you to act. General Pan Yong remained unflinching in his tone. One of our members, proficient in the curse-killing skill, is willing to sacrifice 1,000 years of life to execute it. General Pan Yong continued. The curse-killing skill involves a special application of the law of causality. And the law of causality is extremely difficult to perceive, not to mention devising a secret technique based on it. Moreover, the curse-killing skill is greatly restrictive, requiring at least a gap of 2 great realms to execute, and each use consumes an immense amount of lifespan. If not absolutely necessary, no powerful being would willingly perform the curse-killing skill. Of course, using the curse-killing skill is far more complete than assassination. Regardless of the distance, as long as there is causality connected, one can curse directly. Curse kill. That sounds like a good plan. Direct curse killing will leave these 10 evolvers unable to react. Exactly, as of now, Shursan Peakmaster is only at the 5th rank, not yet stepping into the 6th rank. Executing a curse requires only a 7th rank, one capable in curse arts. If we wait for him to ascend to the 6th rank, cursing him will require an 8th layer curse wielder to pay a significant price, which might still falter. The presences discussed among themselves for a while, concurring with General Pan Yong's approach. With the potential that Shursan Peakmaster has demonstrated, it's best to eliminate him before he reaches the 6th rank. Once at the 6th rank, the vastness of heaven and sea enables many life-saving means, making it uncertain that even an 8th layer curse wielder, willing to sacrifice thousands of years of lifespan, could succeed. I need you to contribute. General Pan Yong immediately began to discuss terms with the other presences. Half a day later, in that starry sky, subtle spatial fluctuations began to ripple. A humanoid being clad in scales stepped forward. This is the medium. With a thought from General Pan Yong, 10 items appeared. These 10 items, gathered from the lives of the 10 evolvers listed, had been collected from planets they had inhabited by people sent by General Pan Yong. Having come into contact with these 10 evolvers, they retained some of their essence. The curse-killing skill, mysterious and unpredictable, impervious to defense, still necessitates a medium for execution. From cause to effect. From effect to lock the cause. Pan Yong, remember your promise. The scale-clad humanoid intensely stared at General Pan Yong for a moment, then swallowed the 10 medium items in one gulp. Invisible waves dispersed. The scale-clad humanoid, as if suffering backlash, began to disintegrate. It is done. General Pan Yong saw this and nodded slightly. Rest assured, after your death, your people will be treated well, General Pan Yong said, gazing at the gradually crumbling humanoid figure. The scale-clad being, left with only 1,000 years of lifespan, had volunteered for this mission to kill Shursan Peakmaster, seeking to pave the way for his people with the remainder of his life. For a scale-clad humanoid, the remaining 1,000 years was far from sufficient to advance further. Now, we wait. General Pan Yong looked towards the other presences. Sacrificing a 7th rank peak, a rare practitioner of the curse arts, for 1,000 years of lifespan in exchange for the lives of 10 small fries at the 4th and 5th ranks. Absolute, profound loss. But if among those 10, there is one who is Shursan Peakmaster, then it's a win, not just a win, but a huge win. Chikuin Main Star. The Tri-Eye clan male ended his cultivation. Humph. Fool. The Tri-Eye clan male glanced below. There, Fong Qing was hurrying away, clearly having matters to attend to. The Tri-Eye clan male found Fong Qing particularly distasteful, not only because Fong Qing used to be a modest silver pattern, but also because he had expended considerable favors for his friend Lin Yuan, garnering a favorable image within the Red Kuan lineage. True powerhouses are solitary, needing no friends at all. Having friends only highlights one's own weakness. The eyes of the Tri-Eye clan male were resolute. Aye! The Tri-Eye clan male sighed lightly, making to rise. Just then, An invisible fluctuation descended. Don't! The Tri-Eye clan male's eyes widened, the bloodline in his brow opening. But it was all in vain. As the fluctuation spread, the soul of the Tri-Eye clan male swiftly extinguished. Simultaneously, on Chikuin main star, the other 9 evolvers mysteriously died. Virtual world. Personal space. Fong Qing sat in front of Lin Yuan, his face burning with indignation. Despicable different species, to use the curse-killing skill. Fong Qing blurted out the mysterious deaths of the Tri-Eye clan male and the other 9 evolvers. Chapter 216. This matter on Chikuin main star is no secret. In the end, the fate of the last 3 peak masters, determined to come from the different species' curse-killing skill, slowly subsided. Curse-killing skill? A flicker stirred in Lin Yuan's heart. As the 13th peak master, he naturally knew of this bizarre and unpredictable method. The curse-killing skill is a special application of the law of cause and effect, more arcane than attacks on the soul. Of course, the cost of using the curse-killing skill is also enormous, and it only works if it spans at least 2 great realms. And each deployment drains 100 years of lifespan. The different species use the curse-killing skill. For what purpose? Lin Yuan had a guess in his heart, but still asked. Others say the different species saw the 13th peak master's performance in the arena area, and this time the curse killed 10 evolvers. They were looking for the 13th peak master. Fong Qing said in a hushed voice. That makes sense. Lin Yuan nodded. At this moment, he was somewhat relieved that he had not exposed his identity. If previously, due to the suppression by Heiyueo, Lin Yuan had revealed his identity in a moment of impatience. Even if he safely hid back on the Chikuin main star, as long as the identity of Lin Yuan was exposed, it could allow the different species to track him down. Having lived on Kanglan Star for so many years, Lin Yuan could not guarantee he hadn't left behind any medium. If the different species found this medium, Lin Yuan was not sure if he could survive. Although as a junior disciple of the Chikuin Star Lord, he might have means to block causality-killing techniques, but in case it didn't work. Low profile. Must keep a low profile, Lin Yuan thought to himself. Luckily, he endured under the pressure from Heiyueo. That Tri-Eye clan man. Lin Yuan felt that this Tri-Eye clan man must have taken the disaster on himself instead. Within the 7-star cave world, 3 red embossed, over 100 gold banded, and over 1 million silver banded. The one who most resembled the 13th peak master, known for his rampage in the arena area, likely was this Tri-Eye clan man. After all, the other 2 red embossed had 2 distinctive personal features. Yin Ling, the silver-haired woman, excels in spatial attacks, and the nearly 3 meters tall brute strength excels in physical attacks. They didn't quite resemble the 13th peak master. As for the below gold and silver banded, the numbers were too vast, really hard to pinpoint. Only this Tri-Eye clan man who was red embossed. Still don't know if the 13th peak master has encountered a mishap or not. Fong Qing's tone suddenly grew somber. The different species daring to employ a curse assassination surely was confident. A curse assassination spanning boundless distances required a huge sacrifice. Won't we know by tomorrow? Lin Yuan offered comfort. That's true. Fong Qing was momentarily stunned. The 13th peak master challenges fellow evolvers every morning and afternoon in the arena area. If the 13th peak master is unharmed, he will definitely appear tomorrow. Hope nothing's wrong. Fong Qing muttered quietly. If the 13th peak master were to die at the hands of the different species like 10,000 years ago, who knows what kind of drastic actions the Chikuin Star Lord would take. The next day, virtual world, arena area. Inside a private box, several figures gathered here. Whether the curse killing reached the 13th peak master or not, we will see now. These several figures were naturally disguised as the different species. The virtual world's network could not completely block the different species from entering. Some adept at disguising could perfectly mimic the aura of the human race, and as long as the identity was correct, they could smoothly enter the virtual world. If today, the 13th peak master does not show up, then it is highly probable he was cursed to death. The several figures exchanged glances, eagerly watching the arena below. This time, to curse assassinate the 13th Peak Master, they had paid a much greater price than when they had assassinated that junior disciple of the Chikuin Star Lord 10,000 years ago. To assassinate that junior disciple, they had merely sacrificed some 6th-rank powerhouses. But this time, directly a 7th-rank peak expert skilled in cursed methods had given up a millennium of lifespan. One must know, a 7th-rank peak expert skilled in cursed methods is even rarer than an 8th-layer powerhouse. If this expert hadn't volunteered, they couldn't have ordered such a sacrifice. 13th Peak Master. You must die. If you don't die, wouldn't our sacrifice be in vain? The several different species thought rapidly, keeping their gazes fixed on the arena below. Soon, a figure appeared on the arena. That was the 13th Peak Master's opponent. By now, he should have not come, should have. Joy surged in the hearts of the several different species. However, the next moment, the figure of the 13th Peak Master appeared on the other side of the arena. Dead silence. The box fell into dead silence. Several different species looked grim, staring intently at the figure of the 13th Peak Master below. Was the curse wrong? The 13th Peak Master is still alive? It's over. The several different species took a deep breath, their faces bitter. Let's go. There's no need to look anymore. Let's go back and report. Several beings from different species disconnected from the virtual world. The moment they saw the silhouette of Shursan at the Peak Master, they realized that they could no longer stop the rise of Shursan at the Peak Master. What could they use to stop him? Attempt another cursed killing? First off, whether they could find another 7th-rank peak expert willing to cooperate with them for another cursed killing is questionable. Even if they could find one, what then? How would they choose the target? Their previously chosen 10 evolvers were most likely to be the targets of Shursan at the Peak Master. Now that they had failed, they needed to select from an even larger base of evolvers. The possibility of failing again in cursed killing was significantly higher than the first time. Virtual world. Personal space. Lin Yuan's eyes were slightly closed. By challenging evolvers of various evolutionary paths repeatedly, the perfection level of Lin Yuan's martial path evolutionary path steadily improved. Is someone seeking to visit me? Lin Yuan glanced through the visitor list. Ever since he was suppressed by Heiyueo, very few had made special visits to him. Even though Fang Qing appeared and resolved the trade cutoff situation of Kanglin Star, Lin Yuan as a person was still blacklisted by many forces. Too arrogant, too controversial. Offend Heiyueo today, who knows who he would offend tomorrow. Mr. Lin, I am Sher Kai, a director from Huiyin Group. A man with a hook-nosed face said with a smile. Hello. Lin Yuan nodded. We hope, Mr. Lin, that you could lead the way and help us contact Lord Fang Qing. The hook-nosed man stated his purpose. Rest assured, Mr. Lin, our Huiyin Group will certainly show our gratitude afterward. The hook-nosed man promised. No need. I can't agree to this. Lin Yuan shook his head in refusal. So these people wanted to get to know Fang Qing through him? In that case, I apologize for the disturbance. The hook-nosed man maintained his smile, and immediately exited Lin Yuan's personal space. It was not until he returned to reality that a dark expression surfaced on the hook-nosed man's face. Doesn't he realize his current situation? Still so arrogant. The hook-nosed man snorted coldly. From his perspective, Lin Yuan was entirely relying on Lord Fang Qing to live comfortably. Not taking advantage of the situation now, when Lord Fang Qing values personal connections, to network with other forces is a complete waste of resources. Just wait. I'll see what kind of fate you'll face in the future. The hook-nosed man sat in his seat. Lord Fang Qing can protect you temporarily, but could he do so for a lifetime? What will you use to face the Heiyu family once you lose Lord Fang Qing's protection in the future? Central Continent Manor. Underground training ground in the main building. Lin Yuan was seated cross-legged. In front of him, A crimson stone was placed. Under the against heaven's understanding, he observed the inspiration emanating from the crimson stone, combined with the gains from sparring with numerous evolvers, quickly perfecting his martial path evolutionary path and enhancing the soul compatibility conversion efficiency. Until he reached a certain threshold. Time passed unknowingly. An hour, 10 hours, or maybe a day. Lin Yuan quietly opened his eyes. Lin Yuan only felt, from his entire being, to be precise, from the depths of his soul, a sense of perfection emerging. Soul compatibility. Lin Yuan immediately began to sense the level of his soul compatibility conversion. A moment later, a smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face, because in this world, his soul compatibility conversion level had already reached 100%.
Chapter 217 Beating Wanyang Olisson.
Has the soul match reached 100%? Lin Yuan's mind was filled with pleasure. Ever since that sense of perfection had emerged from the depths of his soul, Lin Yuan had harbored such speculation. Now that it had been confirmed, he naturally felt good. My current strength. Lin Yuan closed his eyes slightly and carefully felt his body. Compared to before the soul match had reached 100%, Lin Yuan almost had no changes. His physique, strength, speed, and everything else. There was virtually no difference before and after. Yet Lin Yuan felt a sense of absolute control. For example, the same amount of force before the soul match was complete. Lin Yuan could only use it to destroy a city. But now, Lin Yuan could use it to destroy 10 cities, or even 100. No wonder everyone says, as long as the soul match reaches 100%, stepping into the 6th rank is as simple as eating and drinking, with not the slightest risk. Lin Yuan looked as if he had realized something. Previously he had some doubts about this. Even breaking from the 1st rank to the 2nd layer had associated risks. How could there be no risk in breaking from the 5th rank to the 6th? It turns out, when the soul is perfectly matched with the fundamental evolutionary path, an evolver has already stepped into the realm of the 6th rank. On the basis of having a 6th rank realm, stepping into the 6th rank is naturally not difficult, and the control power of a 6th rank evolver makes the breakthrough exceptionally simple. And there's also Martial Tao. Lin Yuan's gaze turned slightly heated. Using Martial Tao as his fundamental evolutionary path at this moment, Lin Yuan seemed to be fused with the Martial Tao. I am Martial Tao. Lin Yuan connected his consciousness to the virtual world. He entered a specialized training arena where the space around him automatically simulated, forming a small planet environment. Lin Yuan stood above the small planet. There was no air, and the gravity was extremely low, completely in line with cosmic standards. Lin Yuan looked down and raised his right hand, throwing a punch toward the small planet below. Boom! A terrifying pressure burst forth. At the surface of the small planet, right where Lin Yuan's punch landed, a crater tens of kilometers wide appeared. The force of this punch penetrated half of the planet, and the residual force caused earthquakes on its surface, triggered tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, and eventually, the small planet disintegrated into countless meteorite fragments that flew in all directions. I am now almost infinitely close to a 6th rank evolver, right? Or perhaps to be considered as a weakened 6th tier. Lin Yuan exhaled softly, his eyes sparkling with vitality. Although the size of the small planet was not as large as a regular life planet, Lin Yuan's full-strength punch causing such an effect. Indeed, there was almost no difference from a 6th rank fallen star warrior. At least, he was nearly at the threshold of the 6th rank, barely on the same level. Logically speaking, even if the soul match reaches 100%, depending on the evolutionary path, the boost to an evolver's strength varies. For someone like me, to have the strength skyrocket to the threshold of the 6th rank, is that considered extremely rare, or perhaps exceptionally scarce? Lin Yuan disconnected his consciousness from the virtual world, returning to reality, thinking to himself. It is important to note, Lin Yuan was not yet a 6th rank. When he breaks through later, his physical soul will undergo a substantial transformation. His strength will increase significantly, possibly reaching a relatively strong level within the 6th rank. Martial path, evolutionary path. Lin Yuan's mind settled, and at this moment, his soul perfectly matched with the martial path, evolutionary path, manifesting its true meaning with every move he made. It was precisely by merging with the martial path, evolutionary path that Lin Yuan was able to disintegrate the small planet with a single punch, unleashing power far beyond the limit of a 5th-rank evolver. The red spirit fluid will take a few more days to arrive, and once it does, I can step into the 6th rank. Lin Yuan thought to himself. A transition from the 5th to the 6th rank entailed a transformation of both physique and soul, which naturally required a large amount of pure energy. Even though the cosmic starry skies are filled with infinite energy, that energy is chaotic and at a very low concentration. How long would it take to absorb cosmic energy slowly and break through to the 6th rank? Red spirit fluid, as a proprietary resource of the Red Kuan lineage, is most suitable for accumulating one's own energy, and using it to break through to the 6th rank couldn't be more appropriate. Upon reaching the 6th rank, revealing my identity will probably astonish many factions. Lin Yuan didn't need to think about it. He knew his true identity would cause quite a stir in the Qikuan star domain, and might even spread to other star domains. A 6th-rank evolver under 100 years old, unlike the Wanyang Holy Sun, did not receive the profound cultivation of the Wanyang Star Lord shortly after birth. Lin Yuan's step into the 6th rank was entirely due to his own qualifications and talent. A few years ago he was just a 4th-rank evolver, taking part in the 7-star cave trial. From the 4th rank to the 6th rank in just a few years? In the expanse of the human civilization territory, among the countless geniuses born in the past 100,000 years, how many can have such a cultivation speed? Once one becomes a 6th-rank evolver, the essence of life is transformed. Spending some time, one can embed their life imprint in the cosmic starry sky. In this way, even if I fall in the future, I could be resurrected by the supreme being of the human race through this imprint. Why is it that upon reaching the 6th rank, one can reveal their identity without fear of assassination by different species? If the different species are willing to pay enough, not to mention the 6th rank, even 7th-rank beings can't withstand it. The reason is that once you reach the 6th rank, you already possess the eligibility for resurrection. Below the 6th rank, life essence is too weak to leave an imprint, and death is truly the end. Different species are reluctant to assassinate 6th-tier evolvers and above because, even if they pay a huge price to assassinate a genius evolver, they might later be resurrected. Chapter 218. This is completely a losing trade. Of course, even for human civilization, resurrecting an evolver is a huge burden to bear. Many 6th-rank and 7th-rank evolvers, even if they could be resurrected, would not be resurrected. A few days before the red spirit fluid arrives, I can finish off the remaining challenge applications. Lin Yuan glanced at the many evolvers he had applied to battle in the arena area. Since there was nothing else to do now, battling these genius evolvers from the human territories was also a gain. Especially the Wanyang Holy Sun, who had defeated him once before. Just a few days later, Lin Yuan had applied again, and his opponent had agreed. The next day, it was still the same time. Around the arena where Lin Yuan was about to appear, a large audience gathered. Why is this Peak Master 13 sparring with the Wanyang Holy Sun again? Didn't they just fight recently? There's a big difference in their strength. Right? Could it be that Peak Master 13 likes being dominated? Around the arena, numerous spectators were discussing animatedly. Although they enjoyed watching Peak Master 13's matches, they wanted to see him crush and dominate his opponents. Not to be crushed and dominated. Especially for some spectators from the Qikuan star domain, some couldn't bear to keep watching. Watching their idol being incinerated into nothingness by the Wanyang Holy Sun was torturous. Ha ha ha! Go Holy Sun! Keep crushing your opponent. Just an underling, not a match for our Holy Sun's single strike. People of the Qikuan star domain, listen up. You're about to see our Holy Sun crush everything with his strength. Compared to the subdued atmosphere of the Qikuan star domain audience, the spectators from the Wanyang star domain were extremely excited. No matter what, Peak Master 13 holds a high status in the Chikuin star domain, and losing to the Wanyang Holy Sun once was a sight worth seeing. Losing again would still be a pleasing thing. What's there to be proud of? People from the Wanyang star domain really have no manners. The Wanyang Holy Sun is strong, but Peak Master 13 isn't weak either. Is there a need to say it like that? The audience from the Chikuin star domain felt suppressed, but they didn't know how to respond since strength was the basis of everything. The previous battle between Peak Master 13 and the Wanyang Holy Sun indeed showed the latter as superior. This fact hadn't changed, so they didn't know how to counter the taunts from the Wanyang star domain audience. It felt like being a class below. Eastern side of the arena. Lin Yi and a few friends sat together, waiting for the match to start. My brother stood me up again. Lin Yi looked around and realizing that Lin Yuan still hadn't shown up, her expression immediately fell. I heard your brother is also an evolutionary genius who has won championships in your planet's arena contests. Asked a girl with twin ponytails sitting next to Lin Yi, who was curious. She came from another planet and had met Lin Yi in the virtual world. That's right. Upon hearing this, a proud expression appeared on Lin Yi's face. She glanced at the arena below, thinking about Peak Master 13 who was about to appear, and shook her head. But compared to Peak Master 13, my brother is far behind. Not only far behind, but he also didn't even want to come and watch to learn. Lin Yi felt annoyed, thinking that Lin Yuan was again gathering with some friends. There aren't many evolvers who can compare to Peak Master 13. Another friend commented, clearly very admiring of Peak Master 13. Arena. This time, the simulated environment was a desolate planet, many times larger than Kanglin's star, sufficient for 2 5th-rank peak evolvers to clash. Whoosh! Lin Yuan appeared on the top of a mountain. Shortly after, on another mountain top in the distance, the Wanyang Holy Sun appeared. The Wanyang Holy Sun had a calm expression. His aura was soothing and warm. Peak Master 13. The Wanyang Holy Sun looked towards the distant Lin Yuan, inevitably puzzled. Not long ago, this Peak Master 13 had fought with him. Surely realizing the disparity between their strength, why did he still intend to challenge him? It must be known. The stronger ones are, the more they care about losing face. Losing to the Wanyang Holy Sun once wasn't enough, he wanted to lose twice? Does Peak Master 13, after every battle, grow stronger? Could it be he sees me as a whetstone? A smile appeared on the Wanyang Holy Sun's face. A whetstone? That's when the strengths are similar or nearly so. If he fully exerted himself, ending the fight in the shortest time, what honing effect could it possibly have? A few minutes later, the match began. Lin Yuan and the Wanyang Holy Sun faced each other. Shursan Peak Master, you must be careful this time. Wanyang Holy Sun's thoughts stirred slightly, and a scorching aura began to spread. You too. Lin Yuan smiled faintly. His figure then disappeared from the spot. Ha! Wanyang Holy Sun was startled. He couldn't at all see when Lin Yuan had disappeared. How has the speed become so fast? Wanyang Holy Sun's face changed slightly. At that moment, Wanyang Holy Sun only faintly felt that Lin Yuan was still present in the arena, but he couldn't pinpoint his exact location. Merely with speed, you can't beat me. Wanyang Holy Sun snorted coldly, instantly releasing his Wanyang domain. In an instant, centered around Wanyang Holy Sun, within a radius of 10 miles, 100 miles, several hundred miles, everything was engulfed by terrifying heat. Wanyang, same heaven. Wanyang Holy Sun transformed into an incarnation of a permanent star, constantly condensing into miniature stars within the range of his domain, releasing endless heat, and then exploding. Since he couldn't pin down Lin Yuan's position, he decided to directly destroy an entire area. After all, Lin Yuan must be in that area. Buzz. At that moment, a figure appeared a kilometer away from Wanyang Holy Sun. It was Lin Yuan. Facing the scorching heat and burning around him, Lin Yuan showed no hint of retreat and extended his right hand to slap towards Wanyang Holy Sun. Boom! Terrifying power enveloped his strike. and it came into contact with the Wanyang domain and the secret technique Wanyang Same Heaven. But to Wanyang Holy Sun's disbelief, the force of that slap from Lin Yuan instantly penetrated the Wanyang domain. This is bad. Wanyang Holy Sun's expression drastically changed, and he began to retreat explosively. However, Lin Yuan took another step forward, appearing 100 meters from Wanyang Holy Sun, and slapped again. Rumble. The air tore apart. Lin Yuan's attack was too ferocious. Although it was just a simple slap, it somehow enveloped the area all around, covering all positions, leaving Wanyang Holy Sun with no place to hide. Success. Wanyang Holy Sun could only grit his teeth and take Lin Yuan's slap head-on. The next moment, Wanyang Holy Sun's figure exploded. Whoosh! Countless scorching flames converged. A few miles away, Wanyang Holy Sun's form recondensed. My Wanyang immortal body. Disbelief was written all over Wanyang Holy Sun's face. With the 9 Yang Divine Meridian and the Truth Crystal of Myriad Fire, combined with the infinite power from the depths of a star, Wanyang Holy Sun cultivated the Wanyang immortal body. The Wanyang immortal body allowed his physical body to energetically transform for a short period, similar to Thunder God's incarnation of thunder, but the Wanyang immortal body was even more profound and high-end. It had the effect of acting as a substitute for death. Without the Wanyang immortal body, Wanyang Holy Sun would have died outright from that slap from Lin Yuan, shattered to pieces with no chance of survival. I concede. Without hesitation, Wanyang Holy Sun applied to concede, even though he wasn't dead, and the Wanyang immortal body could still act as a substitute a few more times. But having witnessed the terrifying strength exhibited by Lin Yuan, Wanyang Holy Sun didn't want to waste more time. What could dragging it out with the Wanyang immortal body achieve? It would only result in taking a few more slaps, completely devoid of any dignity. You should be able to step into the 6th rank at any time. We'll meet again at the 6th rank. Wanyang Holy Sun took a deep look at Lin Yuan, then vanished. The gap in strength between Lin Yuan then and now was too great. The only possibility was that his soul had transformed to perfection. Did I win just like that? Lin Yuan also felt that he won too easily, with the martial path evolutionary path as the core evolutionary path, achieving 100% transformation compatibility with his soul, which had greatly enhanced his strength. What's going on? Lin Yuan looked around. He noticed that all around him had quietened down. In the tournament stadium, countless spectators, whether they were from Chikuan Star Domain, Wanyang Star Domain, or from other neutral star domains, were all dumbstruck, mouths agape. Chapter 219, Breaking Through to the 6th Rank. Just a few breaths had passed. Surrounding the tournament stage, countless spectators gradually recovered, erupting in thunderous cheers. These cheers were like a tsunami, especially from the viewers of the Chikuan Star Domain, almost causing a riot. What just happened? The Wanyang Holy Sun was slapped into submission by the peak master of Shursan? That's the Wanyang Holy Sun, right? What's going on? Did he deliberately concede? Concede your whole family. Didn't you see how the peak master of Shursan's 2 slaps completely shattered the Wanyang Holy Sun's body? Although I have no idea how the Wanyang Holy Sun managed to survive, it's clearly evident that he's no match for the peak master of Shursan. What in the world happened? Wasn't the peak master of Shursan unable to beat the Wanyang Holy Sun before? How is it now? In just a few days, their strengths have reversed. Too terrifying. The peak master of Shursan is too fearsome, shattering the Wanyang Holy Sun's physical body with 2 slaps. With such combat power, I estimate he's reached the threshold of the 6th rank. What were those people from the Wanyang Star Domain barking about earlier? Saying something about a defeated opponent? Keep talking now. Countless voices of discussion exploded. If it was just the Wanyang Holy Sun being defeated, it wouldn't have caused such a huge reaction. After all, among human civilization, there's no shortage of geniuses, and although the Wanyang Holy Sun could certainly be considered first-rate, he was definitely not invincible. But the one who defeated the Wanyang Holy Sun was none other than the very peak master of Shursan, who had recently lost to the Holy Sun. Such a stark contrast. along with the ease in which the peak master of Shursan defeated the Wanyang Holy Sun, ignited the emotions of numerous spectators. Wow! The peak master of Shursan is so powerful. Lin Yi stood up excitedly as well. That's terrifying. That's the Wanyang Holy Sun. And he was just crushed. A few of Lin Yi's friends at her side burst out in astonishment. Of course. Lin Yi then suddenly remembered her own brother. If only my brother could learn from the peak master of Shursan, that would be great. Lin Yi sighed, not because she looked down on Lin Yuan, but because all this time, Lin Yuan never accompanied her to watch the peak master of Shursan's matches. Such disinterest in the strong, Lin Yi didn't know what to make of it. Our little junior brother. In a VIP box, the 12 peak masters of the Red Kuan lineage looked at each other. Initially, they were puzzled why their junior brother would still challenge the Wanyang Holy Sun. But now, everyone understood. Too abnormal. Every peak master had the same thought in their minds. They were aware of their junior brother's partial true identity, not yet 100 years old. But now, the power that the little junior brother had demonstrated certainly indicated he'd reached perfect soul fusion. That is to say, the little junior brother could step into the 6th rank at any time. Such a speed of cultivation was somewhat embarrassing for the 9 elder brothers who were still at the 6th rank. Originally I thought we had a few decades, but I didn't expect we could go back so soon. Among all peak masters, the eldest brother's expression was the most bizarre. He, in order to curry favor with the little junior brother, had specially dispatched an avatar to reside over Kanglin's star, to prevent the Heiyu Ao from making a desperate move. This avatar, the eldest brother had planned to keep until the little junior brother stepped into the 6th rank. The eldest brother estimated that it would take at least a few decades. However, now, it seems like it would only be a matter of a month. This is a top talent of my human alliance. In another stand, Zhong Bai, Lu Shiguang, and Chao Rong were full of shock. The most talented evolver they had ever seen was Lin Yuan. At the beginning, during the team competition of the tournament, they were in the same team as Lin Yuan. In the end, Lin Yuan lived up to expectations, successfully winning the championship of the tournament. However, Lin Yuan's performance was completely on a different level compared to the peak master of Shursan on the stage. One of the future dominators of the Chikuan star domain. Heiyu Ao was also watching, and the current performance of the peak master of Shursan was so highly regarded that he couldn't even look up to him. Maybe one day when he ascended to the position of clan head of the Heiyu family, he would have a chance to see this peak master of Shursan. Chikuan, you old rascal, you really found a treasure. In a crimson palace, a man in a white robe watched the tournament footage, and when he saw Lin Yuan shatter the Wanyang Holy Sun with 2 slaps, he was somewhat stunned. He's reached perfect soul fusion so quickly, and after achieving perfection, his strength has received such an enhancement. What kind of evolution path did you practice with him? The man in the white robe was experienced and knowledgeable. He was aware that reaching perfect soul fusion alone, and having such an explosive increase in strength indicated Lin Yuan's extremely compatible foundation with his evolution path, and that this evolution path held immense potential. You'll know in time, the Chikuan Star Lord replied with an unchanged smile, yet deep inside, he too was extremely curious. Lin Yuan's 2 slaps just now seemed to not follow the Shenhuang evolutionary path. Could it be that he cultivated another evolution path as well? Chikuan, tell me honestly, how old is the little disciple you took in? Is he over 100 years old? The man in the white robe understood that the Chikuan Star Lord wouldn't reveal the true identity of the peak master of Shursan. So instead of asking about that, he asked about his age. One could generally gauge the talent of an evolver by their age. If the real age of the peak master of Shursan was 400 to 500 years or even 500 to 600 years, then he would just be considered a normal genius. If he was under 100 years old, then it must be said that the Chikuan Star Lord had truly found an exceptional genius this time. Under 100 years old, the Chikuan Star Lord replied after a moment's hesitation. Far from simply being under 100, if Lin Yuan's information was correct, he probably wasn't even 30 yet. Chapter 220. Chiquan Star Lord himself found it somewhat incredible. He had presided over the Chiquan Star domain for nearly 200,000 years and had initiated the 7-star cave challenges countless times. Yet, he had never seen an evolver with talents and qualities like Lin Yuan. In the past, Chiquan Star Lord had only heard rumors about such talented evolvers, but this time he unexpectedly became his disciple. Really not even 100 years old? The man in the white robe gasped. My disciple lost honorably. The man in the white robe thought of the junior disciple who had been utterly defeated by Lin Yuan recently. Truly a monster. The man in the white robe couldn't help but say. No need to say that. Once he steps into the 6th rank, there will be even more challenges waiting for him. Our human civilization initially proceeds smoothly, showing terrifying potentials, but there are also evolvers who fail to advance beyond the 6th or 7th rank. Chiquan Star Lord shook his head. Don't set too high expectations for Shursan. The higher you stand, the harder you fall. Still pretending at this time? The man in the white robe rolled his eyes. Although the words were right, they somehow tasted bitter to him. How about I trade 100 disciples for this one of yours? The man in the white robe said. No deal. Chiquan Star Lord didn't even think about it. It's your move. Several days later, Central Continent Manor. Lin Yuan, having finished his last match, came outside the manor. Mr. Lin, here are your items. A man in a black uniform stood outside the manor. Behind him stood a several-meter-tall box. Drip. Following identity authorization, Lin Yuan asked the housekeeper robot to move the box to the underground training facility in the main building. While passing the grassy field, Lin Yuan saw his parents chatting with Lin Yi, his sister. Mom, Dad, you have no idea how formidable Peak Master Shursan is. With just a couple of slaps, he shattered Wanyang Holy Sun. Wanyang Holy Sun, is considered the undisputed number 1 below the 6th rank in the Wanyang Star domain. Lin Yi was vividly enlightening her parents with the glorious feats of Peak Master Shursan. Incredible! Peak Master Shursan is indeed formidable. The parents continually nodded. Without Lin Yi's explanations, they too had entered the virtual world recently and heard most about this. I just wonder when our Kanglan Star will produce a figure like Peak Master Shursan. Mother Lu Qiong sighed. Mom, what are you dreaming about? That's Peak Master Shursan. In the Chiquan Star domain, with more than 1 million life planets, only such one exists. It's already lucky enough for Kanglan Star to have my brother. A Peak Master Shursan? Absolutely impossible. Lin Yi shook her head, explaining to Lu Qiong. Even though Lu Qiong was also an evolver, she didn't understand much about the evolver community and just knew that Peak Master Shursan was formidable. But how formidable? She wasn't aware. Thus she idly fantasized if Kanglan Star could also produce an evolver like him. Lin Yi felt like laughing internally. In such a shallow pool as Kanglan Star, dreaming of producing a true dragon like Peak Master Shursan? Underground training facility in the main building. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, looking at the box in front of him. In the box was exactly what Lin Yuan had applied for, Scarlet Spirit Liquid. To ensure a smooth breakthrough to the 6th rank, Lin Yuan had requested a large basin of Scarlet Spirit Liquid this time. It's time to make a breakthrough. Lin Yuan steadied his mind, having made his decision. The inner conditions, 100% soul bonding transformation, were met. The external conditions, a large basin of Scarlet Spirit Liquid, satisfied all consumption during the breakthrough period. Ho Ming. Lin Yuan thought for a moment and called Ho Ming, the captain of the guard troops. For the coming period until I emerge, no matter what happens, do not let anyone come near. Lin Yuan stated. Yes. Captain Ho Ming spoke reverently. Lin Yuan returned to the underground training facility again. Let's begin. Lin Yuan looked at a large basin of Scarlet Spirit Liquid in front of him and took a gentle breath. A massive amount of Scarlet Spirit Liquid evaporated into the air, merging into Lin Yuan's body. With the influx of huge, pure energy, Lin Yuan started to release control over his physical soul. Rustle, rustle. The amount of Scarlet Spirit Liquid visibly reduced. while Lin Yuan's physical soul quickly began to grow stronger. Why are 6th rank evolvers called Fallen Star level? It's because their physical... Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today.